Hello, my name is Rahul Mitra. I'm from Wayne State University, and I'm representing my team to talk about our paper today, which is titled Deputized Scholarship, Grassroots-Centered Research and Advocacy in the Detroit Water Stories Project. Just to provide you a brief overview about the Detroit Water Stories Project, its goal is to gather, share, and analyze Detroiters' oral histories of water security and resilience, and to do this in a variety of multimedia formats so that we can basically ultimately support grassroots leaders to help build momentum for system level change. It began as a class collaborative research project and is something that has evolved and morphed into a really community engaged open access oral history project where we are sharing not just our data, so to speak, our stories from our research participants, but also engaging in advocacy in a variety of online and offline formats. Our core concept is really that of water security, which is defined by the United Nations in terms of a holistic cycle connecting drinking water and human well being, ecosystem welfare, water related hazards and climate change, and of course, economic activities and development. We like this because it allows us to really conceptualize and theorize Detroiters' experiences of water security as really dealing not only with perceptions of availability and access of vital resources like water, but also concerns of health, concerns of health risks, in particular institutional failure, infrastructure failure, as well as ways that Detroiters are building grassroots organizations and coalitions from the ground up. The biggest problem, of course, that is probably has probably faced Detroiters in the harshest way imaginable is that of water affordability and mass water shutoffs, which began in 2014 and have affected more than 145,000 households since then, although they're presently now under a moratorium because of the COVID crisis. Um, we borrowed the term deputization from Monica Lewis Patrick, who's the president and CEO of We the People of Detroit, one of our major community partners and guides. From the start, our project had a very strong commitment to praxis in line with the culture-centered approach to health scholarship and activism, as well as participatory action research to really understand the social constructions of risk and resilience. But understanding our role as deputies or as deputized scholars means that we lend our research and teaching expertise as well as our institutional legitimacy to the broader cause of social and environmental justice and the core needs of our community partners who might, in some cases, lack the kind of legitimacy that we have because of our institutional affiliation. So at its core, then, deputized scholarship is grassroots centered. It blends research, service learning, and community engagement. And I'm going to be talking today about three communicative principles that really form the bedrock of deputized scholarship: listening, collaborating, and amplifying. So to start with listening, for us, it involves adopting a community-centered mode of critical inquiry, to be present and listen first and to ask questions later. So oral histories were really, really important for us to understand and gauge the extent of the experiences of Detroiters and from a variety of backgrounds and expertise areas so that we could better grasp a variety of actual experiences and concerns rather than just the official version. So these multiple perspectives that we include in our project, Oral History Project, include residents, community organizers, legal advocates, engineers, healthcare workers, media persons, creative workers, and of course, government officials and quasi-governmental officials as well. It also allowed us to hone in on specific areas that were affected, perhaps worse than others, to really understand how these broader local, global, and micro-macro connections really played out. So to some, it then required us to acknowledge that even before we entered the scene, there was a lot of important work going on in multiple activist, academic, creative, and professional spaces. And to be good deputies, we needed to recognize the politics and privileges at stake, the privileges of our own professionalized academic bodies, and how we might deputize ourselves to really assist with the political considerations. Collaborating basically meant that we had to recast gradually participants and community informants, not just as participants and community informants, but really as collaborators who have so much more at stake because this is their community and this is who they are on so many levels. For us, it meant recognizing that our expertise was secondary and that we needed to handle criticism with grace and humility. And we've been really very fortunate to have the amazing partners that we actually have. This means recognizing that our partners are teachers, are co-teachers and co-authors in the work that we do, and giving them due credit so that and giving them due credit. We've also been participating in lots of local forums to translate and disseminate research with our partners, such as the Michigan Science Center and the Wright Museum. We've also been helping and designing materials for community partners for service learning and teaching collaborations, whether they are promotional material in op-eds or infographics. And then finally, amplification was the third process. For us, this basically meant using tools and platforms like the project website, Twitter, and YouTube to host and share these oral histories with broader community members and policymakers and journalists, to curate news, to curate video footage and weblog posts as well, so that we could demystify the research process for broader public audiences. It also meant targeting mainstream journalists with opinion editorial pieces and helping connect reporters when they came to us, because we had a PhD after our names, to grassroots actors who were on the front lines of the crisis and who were much more better positioned on so many levels to address these issues. We've also been working to design, produce, and share documentary shorts and webisodes, recognizing that different audiences have multiple information processing forms and norms. It meant that we had to keep in mind the key concerns that our different target audiences have, whether it's access, whether it's privacy protection, or whether it's sharing capacity. So keeping that in mind, we filmed video footage at different public events as well as private spaces in collaboration with community partners and citizens. And of course, throughout all of these spaces, we also designed and shared information sheets and facilitated workshops to, again, allow these grassroots concerns to permeate locations and forums where they might hitherto have been blocked from. So this slide here shows you a few of these sample collaborations, whether they're infographics on myths and facts of the water shutoffs, infographics and information sheets about the water shutoffs, as well as how to control the water bill that residents receive. And then, of course, brochures, opinion editorial pieces, as well as videos that my students, both undergraduate and graduate, have helped create with our teacher partners. So some concluding thoughts. So far, I've really just shared some of the methodological and axiological reflections about the methods we've used, the values that have guided us, as well as how our approach has evolved through this ongoing engagement and real talk with our community partners. It's important to consider this because activism and social justice research in particular means that we must move beyond traditional insular modes of research towards public scholarship. And that means grappling with questions such as, how will this project affect people here and now, not after publication, but right now? Why should people care about it? How can we listen to, collaborate with, and amplify the voices of marginalized groups without sucking up all the oxygen in the room? Finally, a deputized approach means learning how to know and when, how to step back, to defer, to hear, and to serve. So being a deputy means recognizing both the limits to and the power of our academic expertise and institutional authority, and really interrogating the very purpose of scholarship. Why are we doing this? Thank you so much from the entire team. You can follow us on Twitter at hashtag Detroit Water Stories, and also learn more at our website, detroitwaterstories.com.